about the next generation. And for those of you who've been watching me, I'd love to hear in the chat box, just for my own idea, where you first saw me. Was it TikTok? Was it YouTube, Instagram? I'm just curious, because that helps me identify what's the best place to start marketing and do more content on.
Great question.
We got Bigger Pockets, IG Reels, YouTube, TikTok, YouTube. So a lot of YouTube, couch flipping on YouTube. There we go. You know what's funny too about the couch flipping is when I first put out that video, I'm like, man, this is just something I used to do. It was like this thing. It's kind of embarrassing, honestly. And I just made the video, and then all of a sudden it just went viral. And I'm like, what the heck is going on with this? Like, this is nuts. And now I get DMs every day of people being like, yeah, I flipped this couch, made a couple $100. You know, I'm making a couple thousand a month doing this. So it's crazy. Have any of you guys ever flipped a couch? If you have, I want to hear about it.
I'm going to jump in there, Ryan, because it's funny that couch flipping was where you started. So we had a guest on maybe 2 or 3 months ago, Ryan Scribner. He's a YouTube guy. He started out couch flipping as well. So he kind of talked about that just a little bit in that meeting. And then a bunch of the Sheeks Freaks Mastermind group members they were listening, and they started doing the couch flipping. Funny. I'd say 5 or 6 have done it. One of them even, who's on the call tonight, Ethan, he can chat with you if you have a question, but he had a lot of success with couch flipping. He was out he is out in California, and he actually made an online course that he just launched about a week ago, which is really good. And so now he's selling an online course for other people to learn how to couch flip.
Heck yeah, dude. I love it.
He's hustling. Exactly.
Entrepreneur, dude. I freaking love it. Yeah. So we got Jabbar, a failed couch flipper. It's all good, dude. You know, not every flip goes to plan. I'm a failed house flipper sometimes. So yeah, real quick story about me. And thank you guys for sharing that. That helps me a lot. Looks like YouTube is number one. So, you know, I started out here, born and raised in Vegas, and all I wanted to do was play baseball. I didn't care about real estate. I didn't care about couch flipping. I didn't care about financial freedom. I'm like, dude, if I just get to the big leagues, I'm going to be rich. Everything else will take care for itself, right? And, you know, I was really good. I was always one of the best players on my team, ended up getting a scholarship, you know, played Division I baseball, was an All-American, got drafted by the Oakland A's. You know, everything's going to plan. And, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of athletes on this call as well. So you kind of know what that's like going through, you know, the progression. But, yeah, after a while, you know, I got released by the Oakland A's. I was 23 or 24 years old. And just like that hit me like a ton of bricks, man, because you work your whole life to do something. And for 24 years, I had just had this vision that I was going to be a big league baseball player, and that was my path. And then to know that like this probably isn't going to happen now. And I had no backup plan, anything. And, you know, that was tough. But, you know, God saw me through that. And I ended up, you know, getting into these other things during that time. I started out as a realtor, you know, to make some money during that. Realized I hated being a realtor. And honestly, I thought I was done with real estate. Like being a realtor gave me such a bad taste in my mouth that I was pretty certain I'd never return to real estate. But when that was done, I had to figure out what I'm going to do next. And so like I started just substitute teaching. You know, I was a teacher like you. I don't know if you know that. And I was a sub. Did any of you guys see that post I made about me being a sub? So yeah, it was true. You know, I had the girls and the little teenage girls taking pics of me, and apparently one kept one for like 10 years somehow. And she posted it on Twitter. And so that was funny to see that. But yeah, I was a substitute teacher. And during that time, I just realized I hated that too. Like I'm an entrepreneur. I didn't even know I was an entrepreneur then. I just knew I didn't want to work for anybody. Like I wanted to do my own thing. Like that's what I wanted to do. So I remember just sitting there substitute teaching. I'm like, man, what can I do to make some money? And that was when the idea of couch flipping came around, because I had just gotten married. I moved into an apartment with my wife, and I was like, man, I bet you I could sell this stuff for way more than I bought it for. And I ended up testing the theory. I bought a couch and made like $200. I was like, oh man, like this is way better than substitute teaching. Like this is what I'm going to do. So ended up buying a truck, kept just building this thing. And sure enough, I was making $8,000 a month flipping this furniture. And I was like, this is like, I've hit the lottery, to make $8,000 a month, working my own schedule. This is great. And, it was cool, but I just felt unfulfilled. You reach that ceiling, because I literally bought every couch you could imagine in Vegas. Like there was nothing else out there. I was the guy. And I'm like, there's not like, I've reached a limit to what I can do. So that was when I started learning about real estate around that time. I discovered Bigger Pockets, and that was the first time I was like, man, okay, you don't really need a lot of money to buy houses. Like there's other people that'll give you money to buy houses. Like this is crazy. I never thought about that, because when you're a realtor, nobody ever tells you that. They're like, yo, you got to buy cash or you got to get a 30-year loan. That's it. And I didn't know there was any other way. And so, I discovered Bigger Pockets back then. And I don't think Bigger Pockets was anything close to what it is today. It was still like a very niche website. And I was like, man, is this a scam? Like I thought it was a scam. And sure enough, it wasn't. I bought Brandon's books, and Brandon and I are really good friends now. I was actually texting him yesterday about a fund I'm starting for real estate, just like his. And, I just hit the ground running. I maxed out all my credit cards for $50,000, bought my first flip, and thankfully it worked out. I ended up making $25,000 on that deal. And I just kept rolling over those profits, rolling over that credit limit into the next deal. And, thankfully I just kept buying good deals, and I didn't miss. I didn't lose money on a flip until probably like my, I don't even know, 70th flip or something. I just was positive on every one. And then it just grew into this really big thing. And, now today in 2021, we're consistently doing over 100 flips and wholesales a year. I've built all of these other businesses on top of it with, a tax company, real estate education company, my brokerage, my fund I'm starting. And, I got a whole bunch of other things in the works no one even knows about. And then, we got social media and content, which is a whole nother, thing in itself. So it's really exciting just where real estate has taken me, and, all the things that are about to happen in the future with it. Like, I feel like I'm just scratching the surface.
All right. Thanks, Ryan. That little bio, which I think I knew most of that except for the teaching part, which is cool.
Yeah. I don't tell people that often. I always forget that part of the story.
How many years did you substitute teach?
Man, whatever it was, too many. I think it was probably like 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think what we're going to do now is just kind of transition into a Q&A. I think that's where the members get the most value. It's just to pick your brain. And so what I'd like to do, Ryan, on your screen, do you see everybody kind of?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if they'll raise their hand. I'm wondering if you can see it without being a host.
If I can see everyone raise their hand without being a host?
Well, they raise their virtual hand. Someone.
Yeah. I don't see anyone's hand up.
I don't see anyone's hand up yet either. A couple of you put your hand up just to test this out here.
Yeah, I see the hands. Yep, I can see them.
So then when you see a hand, Ryan, just say that person's name. They'll ask you a question, and then you can answer it and just go to the next one, and that's kind of how we'll do it.
All right. Why is everyone's hands going down? Nobody wants to ask? All right. Joe, what's up, man? What you got?
Hey, Ryan. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. So do you plan on scaling a rental property business down the line with like apartment buildings or things like that?
Yeah. So, right now I've got around 30 units, and I have not tried to buy rentals. Like they just come as they come with what we're doing. But I, as I mentioned, I was talking to Brandon Turner, yesterday about starting a fund. So I'm in almost the final stages of my fund being complete, and we're going to raise a ton of money and buy some really big deals. So, Yeah, that's kind of the next part of my real estate evolution is buying some really big commercial multifamily. I would guess that within the next, by the end of 2022, you guys are the first people to hear this, but I would guess I'll probably own 500 to 1,000 units by the end of 2022, just with what we're going to do with the fund.
Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah. JT.
Hey, Ryan, thanks for coming on. I just wanted to ask, when you were hitting those $8,000 months couch flipping, did you have a team around you or was it just you?
Just me. Dude, I remember, okay, and this was the best part of couch flipping. I don't know if I ever said this too. So, to hit an $8,000 month in couch flipping, if you reverse engineer it, basically, what do you need to make? About $2,500 a day, right? That gets you to $7,500 for the month. Or sorry, $250 a day. So call it $300 a day gets you to 8,000. So for me, that would have been like a couch and a half or 2 couches. So that's kind of the pace I was at. I was picking up 2 couches a day. I was delivering 2 couches a day. And when you think about it, I mean, it takes like an hour to go pick one up, bring it back, another hour, right? So, I mean, really, I was only working 4 to 6 hours a day to make, $8,000 a month. So it was a sweet gig for me. And, it was just fun. And the best part about that was mainly it was driving. And so during that time, I literally listened to like 3 podcasts a day. I went through the beginning of Bigger Pockets, episode 1, to whenever I finally stopped listening. Like, I think I listened to 200 episodes, during that time. And that was how I learned real estate while I was couch flipping.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question as well, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So I was kind of wondering if you could touch on the aspect of how you balance your time between all your businesses while kind of like also expanding to content, and you're talking about your syndication and kind of that route.
Yeah. Man. So I think this is the number one thing people ask me whenever they hire me as a consultant or all the different things. It's really that management thing, because most people for one, if you can be really good at one business, you're already extraordinary, right? Like, you can make a lot of money just dominating one business, but to dominate multiple businesses takes a lot of skill that is a totally different skill set. And the skill set that you have to master is hiring and delegating. That's the main skill you have to master, because most people, they want to do everything themselves and they do not trust other people. And for me, I just know that, man, my time is so limited that if I want to accomplish all the things I want to do in my life, I need other people. And so I've like surrendered that fact that like, I don't want to do anything myself. In fact, I take the totally opposite approach. Like, I literally want to do nothing. If that's what I can do, then it's a good business. If I have to go into the business and I am like, it's dependent on me doing something, it's not a business I want to be in. So, for me, that doesn't mean starting out it wasn't that way. Like, of course, when you're building a business, you're knee deep in it, doing what you got to do. But there has to be an exit strategy for you to not be so involved. And I'll tell you, the only thing I dislike about content is there's only one guy who can film, right? Like, it's me. I got to be on camera making the content. There's no other way around it. But I can delegate almost every single part of it, right? I can have people write scripts for me. I can have people write the descriptions and post it and thumbnails and titles, edit. I can have them set up the cameras and do everything humanly possible so that all I have to do is show up for that, 20, 30 minutes, film the video, and I'm out, So it's really just figuring out how to be so efficient with your time. And I've had this conversation with many other successful YouTubers. I'm sure a lot of you guys know Graham Stephan, right? Good friend of mine here in Vegas now. I had Jack, his right-hand man, in my office yesterday, and we were talking about ways for them to systemize their business and not be so involved. And I'm like, dude, you guys are like way too involved with this crap. Like, they're spending 70-hour weeks like on this YouTube channel. I'm like, how can you make so much money and still grind so hard? Like, hire an editor. Like, what are you doing? So, it's things like that. But even the most successful people still have these issues because it's hard for them to give up control. So that's the biggest key to managing multiple businesses. You got to get good people. You got to become a stud at hiring, but you also need to, work on yourself. You got to trust other people. Ethan, my couch flipper, dude. Tell me about your couch flipping endeavors. I want to hear about them.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you because it's literally changed my life. Like, I remember first thing I did after that one Zoom meeting where Ryan Scribner told me about it, went on YouTube, found your video, and I was like, it totally inspired me. Like, the next day, went and picked up like 2 couches and made like $150 on both of them. And I was like, this is my thing now. So, yeah, it's like, I've been doing it since November, and I've made over like, I think $11,000 total revenue.
By the way, Ethan, tell Ryan how old you are.
I'm 16.
I love it, dude. I never had that much money in my life till I was like freaking 25, man. I love it.
Yeah. Well, thank you. But yeah, I launched my course the other day. I'm excited for that. I want to teach other people how to do the same thing. So thank you for that. I really appreciate, your video really changed my life there. But
I love it.
I kind of wanted to get your perspective on like how couch flipping has translated over to house flipping for you, because I know you made that jump pretty fast. Like, did you learn and develop some of the skills while you were couch flipping, and did this translate over to house flipping, or did you have to really kind of grind your way to moving on to houses?
No, that's a great question, and it's once again one of those things that I don't get to talk about a lot, but have greatly impacted me. So couch flipping and baseball both impacted me tremendously today. Baseball taught me discipline and routine and work ethic and competitiveness and all these things, right? Things that are just good for anybody in general, right? Anything you're doing. What couch flipping taught me was a lot of things that help you in business and the entrepreneurial space. And, some of those things were, running a business, right? I had to learn all aspects of a business. I had to find deals, right? Lead generation, right? When we're flipping houses, we got to generate leads to find deals. Couches are the same. How am I going to go prospect and generate these leads to get these good deals on couches? So it taught me, that marketing side. But then I also developed my sales skills while I flipped couches. If you think about all the couches and furniture I flipped, it was over 1,000 transactions between the purchase and the sale. You go into 1,000 people's houses, and you're negotiating that many times. It doesn't matter what the price is, whether we're negotiating for $100 or 100,000, the same skills apply.
Right.
So I didn't know it at the time, but I was becoming a really good salesman just from all these transactions over and over again. And then lastly, just operations. I had to learn operations for a business. I had to, for the first time ever, get a storage unit, get like this, warehouse and things that I needed for my business. I had to buy a truck. I had to, learn to clean the couches in the most efficient way. I had to learn to transport the couches by myself, because I didn't want to pay labor to, help me out and split profits. So I had to learn all of these business tactics, couch flipping. And there were things nobody taught me, right? There was no couch flipping video, when I was doing this, and there was no course, right? Nobody was talking about this stuff. So I had to just figure it out as I went along, and I didn't know what I was like learning and for the future. And so for sure, all those principles, and then plus what I talked about with all that downtime I was driving, I was just learning. So I'm sure you're already a smart guy. You're probably watching YouTubes and podcasts while you're driving and delivering couches and stuff. So, really maximizing your time. And yeah, man, couch flipping taught me so much that I apply in my life today.
Awesome. That's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thomas, what you got?
First off, I love your video. Like, I'm so excited that you are here. Like, it's so cool. But when you were saying that you found that you didn't like really have a bad flip until like your 70th flip, and like so you were really good at finding deals. Like, what's your best tip for how you find your deals? Like what?
Yeah, so I've always been a good deal finder, right? Like that's couch flipping taught me that. Like hustle, find a deal. I got most of my deals almost all my deals from couch flipping on Craigslist back then. OfferUp didn't exist. Let go didn't exist. This Facebook marketplace was like nothing. So like it was just purely like Craigslist for the most part. But I took those same principles to house flipping too. I'm like, I'm gonna look for deals on Craigslist. And so I got my very first deal on Craigslist flipping. And then I would get deals on the MLS because I was still a realtor, even though I sucked at it. I still had my license and I was able to, find deals on the MLS. And that was actually one of the reasons I hated being a realtor, is because I was always good at finding deals, but people wouldn't buy them. My clients wouldn't buy them. I'm like, dude, guys, this is such a good deal. And it frustrated me. But the moment that I was able to buy deals myself, then it changed. I was like, all right, having my realtor license has value now. So I was just strictly hunting deals on Craigslist, hunting like on Zillow, for sale by owners, all the free ways, because I didn't know how to market. I couldn't afford to market. I didn't know how to do it. So I was like, I got to just hustle and get a deal for free. So that was how I did it. And then I would go network with realtors and wholesalers and stuff. Now, that being said, today, you got to remember, this was 6-7 years ago, right? Like, things are different now. I think with what I teach my students, marketing is definitely the best way to do it, because there's so many cheap ways to market. And, if you do it right, it's better than hustling on Craigslist. But we still get deals for free doing these hustling type ways. So I think things are way easier today than they were, 7-8 years ago. There was no like softwares like Batch Leads. I'm an affiliate for Batch Leads, and we always tell our students, use Batch Leads because you can get so much data for like $100 a month. Like, it's stupid. That did not exist 8 years ago. So yeah.
Oh, real quick. You said you were a realtor, right?
I was. Not anymore.
Do you have, like, just real quick, what is the best tip you can give me for the test? Because I'm gonna be taking it soon.
Go study, dude. What do you mean? Just take it. It's like any test. There's no secret formula.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Ben.
Hey Ryan, thank you so much for being here. So I saw a recent video that you did about credit, and you said how it's not that important. Now, would you change your stance for someone who's like really young and they're trying to house hack, or would you still feel the same way?
It's funny you asked that question. So I'll share this with you guys, the business side of things. So I had an affiliate called SeedFi who like does this credit stuff. And I don't know if anybody's ever heard of them. Anyways, they wanted me to make a TikTok about their credit building program, right? I'm like, all right, I'll make a TikTok. It's cool. And in fact, we were in talks about like them giving me equity and stuff, for being like a full-time, partner with them. Well, long story short, I did that video. I didn't even really think about it because I was just like, this is how I feel. Like, I'm just saying what I feel. And they messaged me and they were like, do you think this conflicts with like our product that we're trying to sell? And I was like, well, it is what it is. Like, this is how I feel. And I'm like, sure, building credit is good. It's not like I'm saying building credit is bad. Like, if I could choose between having good credit and bad credit, I'm going to choose good credit. But my whole point with that video and one that's actually coming out on YouTube is this. It's like, most people focus so hard on having an 800 credit score or something really big, and they'll do crap with it. I'm like, dude, why do you need a good credit score? What's the point? Unless you're out here like leveraging things and getting debt to go make some money, who cares what your credit score is? When I first started flipping houses, I maxed out all my credit cards and my credit was in the 500s, to buy those houses. I didn't care. I was making money. Like, it's just, that's what credit is used for. It's used to, give you money you don't have so you can potentially make more money. So that's kind of how I feel about it. I think if you're going to house hack, you got to have a certain credit score to qualify for an FHA loan or whatever you're going to get. But even an FHA loan, you only need like a 620. It's like you do not need good credit to buy a house.
So your emphasis is really don't let it hold you back. Don't let your credit score not being good enough hold you back.
I think people don't get into investing because they think they need more money than they do, and they think they need better credit than they do. Those are the two big things I see, and they're both false. But I also think that people just have this, like, I don't know, like weird goal of having this super high score for no reason at all. That's my whole point of it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, I lost that sponsorship probably, so it is what it is, guys. In the end, always speak your mind. Who cares? Ben. No Ben? All right, let's do Chase.
Hey, Ryan, just want to say thanks for being on here. It's really cool to have people like you on this Zoom with us. I would absolutely love to get your perspective on how being an influencer, especially in the real estate niche, has changed your ability to network and get deals.
Yeah. If you guys have been following me, I've been like beating the drum saying that everyone needs to like try and become an influencer and like push social hard. You know, I think it's very early, but you know, the people who get it. But like I had this conversation with my mastermind. So I gave a speech to everyone in my mastermind. Grab this real quick. So this is a mastermind I'm in. It's called Collective Genius. And so to be in Collective Genius, you got to be doing 50 plus deals a year, and you got to pay 25 grand a year. So it's just for high rollers. Just because, you know, you got to limit, you know, you want only just high caliber people in there. Long story short, you know, I won the best presentation for the presentation I gave on social media, because all of these guys are they're multimillionaires. They own hundreds of rentals, flip hundreds of whatever, you know, they've done a ton of stuff. And I go, guys, like that stuff is great, but I think you guys got it twisted. The future is not this physical real estate. It's the digital real estate. Okay. How much digital real estate can you own? And what I mean by that is, you know, having one follower, like that's digital real estate. Having an email list that is, you know, this however big, that's digital real estate. These are digital assets that are very, very valuable. And they're going to continue to get more and more valuable. And they allow you to do so many things with, you know, other businesses, or like you're saying, just get more real estate. So for me, right, when I look at all the digital real estate I own, that would be all my YouTube videos, my TikToks, my Instagrams, all the podcasts I've been on, like everything. That's a digital asset to me. If somebody ever watches that, they're now aware of me. And when somebody becomes aware of you, it gives you the opportunity to, you know, either partner with them, do a deal with them, sell them something, whatever it is. And so when it comes to real estate, if I have more digital real estate, I'm able to now get more deals from people all across the country. I'm able to raise more money for my fund to go buy these deals that these people are giving me anyway from like, it just all comes back together. You know, if I'm out there, people send me deals, people give me money, and then I connect them. So that's the big picture that these guys don't get yet, is that, you know, they've been killing it for a long time, the old school way, which is fine. But guess what? If somebody gets a really good deal, for instance, if you guys get a really good deal right now, would you guys send me a DM like, hey, Ryan, like, you know, I got this deal. Like, do you want to buy it? Right? You wouldn't be sending it to one of these guys you don't know. And so the more attention you can get, it's going to lead to way more deals. And the more I can shout that in the digital space, guys, I'm buying deals. Send me any deal you get. Our team will take care of it. You know, that's where the money's at. Jabbar.
Hey, Ryan, thank you so much for being here. And I just want to let you know I drive a lot of inspiration from you because I love where you're at and like how you think in the content that you put out. One thing that my question basically is how effective or how important do you think that coaching, like not just like mentorship, but just coaching, someone who's going to be there and really help you with your performance as like a business owner or just like in personal development, how essential do you think that would be to like a young person's growth? Right now, I'm kind of at the stage where I'm kind of starting my business. I'm house hacking and I'm trying to get more properties and things like that. And I'm wondering if I should focus more on getting more education to make sure that I'm growing exponentially, or if I should kind of stick it out and go the hard way until maybe coaching is maybe a little bit more affordable to me, or if it's more of a priority to me.
Yeah. Where are you at right now?
I'm in Yuma, Arizona. I'm on a field exercise with the Marine Corps.
Nice, man. I love it. So you obviously already understand the value of coaching, right? You're in the Marines, like that's what they do. And here's what I'll say. When I first started out, and this is not to hate on Bigger Pockets or anything like that, because BP has, been tremendous in my life. But I think BP and a lot of these YouTubes and other things give this stigma that, all information is free and that's how you should learn. And that's not true. For me, the most growth I've ever experienced is by joining, really expensive masterminds, hiring coaches, hiring consultants, getting mentors. And the thing is, the best mentors in the world are not going to train you for free. I mean, that's just the reality of it. You kind of get what you pay for. So you can bring value to a mentor by either paying them or by, giving them value. You're giving them a deal. You're working for free. You're doing something, right? For me, people ask me all the time, can I work for you for free? And I'm like, honestly, you can't. Like, I'd have 1,000 people in here if I just let people work for me for free. Like, it's got to be something different. But I just think that the problem is most people never get started on their own. That's just the reality of it. Like, I think I was a rare case of somebody who could just pick it up from scratch and just make things happen. Most people I see, they listen to YouTubes. They even watch my stuff and they still don't do anything. They read my book. They don't do anything. And it's mainly because most people have nothing to lose. When you watch stuff for free, the only thing you lost is your time. You didn't lose any money. You didn't lose anything by not taking action. But the moment you pay for things, all of a sudden, right, you're like, damn, like I better go do something because I just spent a lot of money on this course, on this coaching, this whatever. And so when you start having skin in the game, you take more action. That's just, there's no other way around it. And the other thing to think about too is when you're trying to learn something, it's very difficult to figure out the pieces by yourself, right? You don't even know if you're right or wrong, right? You're just like, I think this is the way to go. I hope I'm right. And then you find out whether you're right or wrong. But I think time is the only limited resource we have in this world. I can go make money. We all have the ability to make money. Everyone on this call is really smart. So, if I can shortcut my time to go make money quicker by making, a bigger investment initially, it's way worth it every time. And every new business endeavor I do that I'm not an expert in, I'm paying somebody to tell me the blueprint right now so I can freaking expedite this learning curve. Because by not doing that, I might even lose money two ways. I might lose money by making the wrong decision, like that cost me money. Or two, I lose money with opportunity cost. I lost a deal I could have got if I just had the right mentor who told me that, hey, that was a deal, you dummy. You just passed up on $100,000, right? People don't realize how much money they lose that they didn't even realize they lost. It's just opportunity lost. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, thank you. That was great.
Yeah. Leo, what you got, dude?
Ryan, my man, how you doing?
I'm good.
I really like what you said about shortcutting time. And my question to that is, what is your biggest failure and what did you learn from it?
Good question. So I would say my biggest failure was back in the end of 2018. So the end of 2018, that was my first year where we did over 100 deals. And we were just rolling. We were buying houses like crazy. And, here's the thing too. Once you reach a certain level, there's not many people that can help you. Like, right? Who am I going to go hire to help me flip 100+ homes? There's not many people doing it. And so I had to figure out once again, like I'm in this gray area of like, man, I'm figuring things out because nobody else knows what to do. So we had a lot of things break, and I had a lot of bad deals that I bought. So long story short, I go into 2019, and they raised interest rates at the end of 2018. The real estate market went cold, and I was stuck with a bunch of bad deals that I bought that I was like banking on appreciation, doing things I shouldn't have did. And those bad deals lost me about $500,000. So, think about that. You get, I don't know, 20 deals that end up losing you $500,000. And that was a big learning lesson for me, because I went from being ultra conservative, never losing money, right, to getting aggressive and, making a ton of money. I made a ton of money that year, millions of dollars. And then to lose $500,000 on those bad deals that I bought, it sucked. And it was a big reminder that I needed to restructure and get more disciplined with, how we evaluated deals and did things. And I ended up hiring a coach, ironically, because I said, all right, like we're doing things not the right way at this current level. Like I need somebody who can help me understand how to manage a company at this level. Managing, 100+ houses a year is way different than doing 20 a year. It requires a totally different company structure. And so I hired somebody to teach me how to structure companies, because I never had worked. Like I'd never been a part of a corporation. I had no idea what an organizational chart was or any of this stuff. So I had to hire somebody to do it. So I paid a guy $15,000 to come to my office for 3 days, totally revamp my business. One of the best $15,000 I've ever spent. So losing that $500,000 was, something that was my biggest lesson for sure. Cade.
What's up, Ryan? I'm gonna throw a little curveball at you. I know you're a big fan of crypto and Bitcoin. You said it's gonna go over $1 million at some point. But for someone like me or a lot of people in this group, do you think I should continue to hold on to that, or should I put my money elsewhere?
So here's what I think about all investing. There's a million things you can invest in, right? I mean, there's people who love stocks, crypto, e-com, real estate, whatever. And by the way, e-com is my next business. You guys will hear about it soon. But with crypto and all these things, it really depends on your situation in life. So here's what I mean. When I first started, right, I didn't have a lot of money. I needed every dollar possible to flip the next house so I could scale my flipping business. So it never made sense to buy a rental, because I'm like, well, I can use this $30,000 I have, as a down payment for the next flip, which will make me 20. Or I can use this 30,000 and throw it in the stock market and it makes me freaking nothing, right? Even Bitcoin at that time, right? Even if I would have put the 30,000 into it, it would have not really gone up during the time that the flip would have gone up. Like the flip would have made 20 grand in 4 months. The Bitcoin would not have made 20 grand. But even if the thing is, if I would have never took that path and kept rolling my money over back into flips, none of this happens today, because I needed every dollar put back into my business to grow it to the level it is. I could not afford to put it into a rental or the stock market or crypto or anything else. So that was my like opportunity cost. Like I had so many opportunities to flip houses that it was not worth putting it in anything else. Now that's not the case for everyone, right? There's a reason most people don't flip houses. They just don't have the opportunity. They don't have enough good deals. And so they house hack, they buy a rental, they do whatever, which is totally fine for their situation. They buy stocks, they buy crypto. It's just a matter of opportunity cost. What is the highest and best use for your money based on what you have in front of you? And so when I look at me now, the reason I'm buying Bitcoin today, is because I have extra cash. Like it's not going to affect my, it's not going to affect my house flipping business. Like that's going to run with or without my cash. It doesn't matter, you know? So where am I going to put all my excess cash? Well, I'm putting a lot of it into crypto. So for you, it's just what opportunities do you have in front of you? That's what you have to look at.
Appreciate it.
Carlos, did we call on you yet?
No, and thank you for calling me. First, thank you for being with us here today. It's amazing that we have the opportunity to talk with you. And I wanted to ask you, during your first rodeos as a house flipper, what things did you learn that you want to teach to newcomers in that kind of business? That you're like, man, that mistake that I made, I wish that I knew sooner.
So what, like, kind of repeat the question. I didn't really.
During your first experience as a house flipper, what did you learn that you would like to know beforehand?
Okay. Man, I think the hardest part for me was the construction process. You know, I didn't know what kind of finishes to put, you know, what kind of design, what to do with layout. Like now, I walk into a house, I know exactly what we're going to do to maximize our return, right? Because we don't just fix up every house to like full renovation. That's just a waste of money. Like if this house only requires paint and carpet, then that's all we're going to do. But I didn't know that, you know, as a rookie. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, do you just replace everything? Like, what do we do? Like, I have no idea. So I think the construction aspect is what I would say is like the biggest thing that it took a long time to learn. I wish maybe I had an experienced house flipper to tell me exactly what to do. Like, hey, just do this on this house and you'll be good. Because that's like what I do now, or my team does for our students and stuff. We're like, hey, on that level of rehab and that, you know, price point and, you know, based on the comps, just do this rehab. Because you'll break your budget and your return. Like if you should have spent 20 grand on a rehab and all of a sudden you spend 50 because you think you need to replace everything, but you didn't, you just lost a lot of money that you should have made. Sanibel.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hi, Ryan. Thank you so much for being here today and for your time. I just want to know your thoughts on NFTs. Like I created one about a week ago and I don't have a big enough following to like advertise it, I guess. So I just wanted to know your thoughts on NFTs right now.
You know, I've been thinking about that. I'm like, man, should I freaking start an NFT? Like, how much money can I make off this thing? Like, it's crazy what these guys are paying. Yeah, the world, once again, it goes back to that digital real estate, right? Like, an NFT is a form of digital real estate, you know? And so it's early to say what's going to pan out. If you listen to Gary Vee,
This is Dan. I'm going to interrupt real quick. I don't know what an NFT is. So can you, maybe some others don't as well.
So an NFT is a non-fungible token, for those of you who don't know. And, you know, essentially most people are using it for artwork right now. They're making a digital piece of art and basically they're selling it. And, you know, the reason people don't understand it is because it's like, well, anybody can just go take that picture and put it on their computer, their screensaver. Like, what does it matter? Why is, because people are paying millions and millions of dollars for this digital art. And I mean, the reality is why it's so cool is it's verifiable who owns it. Like, you know, when you look at the Mona Lisa, how many times has the Mona Lisa changed hands? Like if you saw the Mona Lisa today, would you know for sure that's the legit Mona Lisa? And, you know, fake art is like a huge deal in the art world. Well, with NFTs, it will never happen, you know, because it's fully trackable on the blockchain of who owns what. So I think the concept is cool. If I had to picture how things are going to happen, my guess is people will buy these NFTs and they're going to have a giant iPad in their house. And that's going to be the picture, you know, that they bought. And it's going to have like a certification right underneath. That's like, yeah, I own that thing. You know, you saw that, whatever, that the picture of Ryan on the Zoom call. Yeah, I bought that, you know? So that's what people are going to pay money to do it. Like, who knows? Like, they have value for sure. No doubt about it. It's just like, if you listen to Gary Vee, though, he thinks that 99% of them will be worthless, but there's going to be 1% that are extremely valuable. But I ain't buying them. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to buy them. I'd rather buy a Bitcoin.
Thank you.
Yeah. Josiah.
Hey, I just had a quick question about who are like the biggest leaders or biggest heroes in your life outside of like your immediate family?
You know, it's funny, when I was growing up, right? I just love athletes because that's just how I grew up. I loved Kobe, you know, Ken Griffey Jr., LeBron, just these studs, man. Like that was the people that I looked up to as a kid. And then as I got older, right, and I get into business, I'm like, man, like I really look up to these entrepreneurs, right? Like the Elon Musk, the Steve Jobs, and the Jeff Bezos. I don't think there's a real estate guy I really look up to, but I really enjoy like the entrepreneurs a lot. And you know, now that I go into this influence space, like guys like Gary Vee, you know, I really like listen to what they have to say, because you know, that's the niche I'm in. So it's kind of like whatever I'm going through in my life, like who's the top dog? All right, like that's the guy like I want to take a lot and learn as much as I can from. So that's kind of the people I look up to.
Sweet.
Ethan, you got another question?
I do. Is that okay with you?
All right, let's get it.
So with my couchsurfing course, like you mentioned a lot about how you're involved in a lot of affiliates right now. I plan to do some affiliate marketing to help market my course and get it out there to generate some sales. Since you're on the other side of the spectrum, what are some tips that you would give me on my side, you know, that makes it more pleasurable to work with, you know, an affiliate? Like, what are some do's and don'ts when it comes to affiliate marketing?
Yeah, like how to treat your affiliates.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously make it worthwhile for them, right? What's your course cost?
$149.
Okay. What did you plan to give an affiliate?
I haven't looked much into it, but I was thinking like somewhere between $50 and $80 per sale.
Yeah. Okay. So that's about right. You know, I would say most affiliates on something like this would be paid 30 to 50%, which is right where you're at. So, you know, first off, getting the pay structure right, I would guess on yours, like 50% is probably the way to go. But you reserve, you know, if you get a big time guy affiliate and you know, you got to give him more, so be it, right? Because he's going to make you a ton. So I think just structuring that the right way and giving them the right things, you know, getting them hooked up with the link and the tracking and all that stuff, so that they can see how many people are clicking it, how many people are, you know, buying and all that stuff. So it's all just transparent. So, I mean, that's really all you got to do, and just, you know, have a good product, right? Like if they're going to put their name on it, your product better be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ben.
Hey, another question. So I saw like on your Instagram, you do like Bible studies a lot. So I was just kind of wondering how important, and also like how you integrate your faith with business.
Yeah. So for me anyways, you know, faith has been the thing that I try and just put above everything else. Like, I think I even said this in Dan's questionnaire that I did. I said, it was like, what's your financial freedom number or goal? I was like, I don't know. Like I don't do it for that. Like I've even when I was flipping couches, I thought I was rich. Like I literally was like, man, I am set. I'm good. And it's always been that way because of my faith. Cause it's like, I just know no matter what situation I'm in, like God's going to take care of me. And this is the path that he wants me on as long as I'm obedient. And so for me, the other great part about being an entrepreneur and an influencer who can, you know, say what they want is this. Like, if I want to talk about faith, I can do it because I'm not scared of the repercussions, right? And, you know, like other influencers, they're so concerned about their personal brand because it's their only source of income, right? And so they got to really watch what they say. For instance, like that affiliate I was just telling you that got pissed at me. I'm like, whatever, I don't care. Who cares? Like,
Yeah.
it's like I got all these other incomes. I don't care. And so it's the same way with faith. Like I'm going to share my faith almost in everything I do. And if it offends some people and they unfollow, it is what it is. But the best part about it is by being open about it, when I go on Zoom calls like this, or when I go on an event, it inevitably gets brought up like it just did. And so it gives me an opportunity to speak about God and do really like what I enjoy doing, you know, because I enjoy making money and doing business and, you know, all the stuff that I get to do. But like, that's like small picture compared to eternity. And so I haven't even like talked about this really much either, but one big thing that we're working on as well is my charity. And so we're in the process of setting up nonprofit and stuff like that to do like all of this stuff. And that's going to be like one of those things that's like the grand plan of like everything, you know, the summation of all the stuff we're doing. Cause dude, here's the thing with money, guys. Once you make enough money that like fits your lifestyle, you're going to be like void. You're like, dude, what else is there to do? Like, I'm not motivated anymore. Like, and everybody experiences that once you hit this certain level. And then there are some people who think, oh, well, I need to hit another level. And then they hit the level and they're like, I'm still not fulfilled. And that's just kind of how it keeps going and going. So there has to be a bigger purpose behind what you're doing to really reach, you know, and be passionate about what you do every day. Cause tell you what, like if I wasn't passionate about speaking to the next generation or making content or doing all this other stuff, I wouldn't do it. Like you just cannot do it every day unless you're passionate about it. You get burnt out. So
Thank you.
Good question. Chase.
So Ryan, I know that you have a podcast, right?
Yep.
How have you grown that podcast to the level that it's at today, and what success have you found from that?
Yeah, so man, the podcast growth has been crazy. I launched it last month and we cracked the top 20 in business. And now we're in the top new shows. There's like 1,400 5-star reviews. It's nuts. I didn't expect it to go that good, to be honest. But then again, I was flipping couches 6 years ago. So I didn't expect any of this really. And I would just say the reason it had a great launch was because number one, I had already built up, you know, a good size following before the launch. And so all of those people supported the launch really good. So, you know, that was probably the biggest thing. But, you know, I guess the other thing was I properly prepared for it. And so whenever I go into any business, right, podcast, it's a business. This is like, you know, any new endeavor is a new business. And so what did I do? You guys can probably guess. I went out to all the top podcasters and asked them what they did. Okay. I asked Brandon what he did. I asked all my friends who are in the podcast industry. I said, what are the best tips for launching your podcast? What would you do if you were launching again? Because I only get one launch. And one of the biggest tips that I got was, hey, Ryan, you got to launch with at least like 10 episodes. Because if you launch with just one episode, like they watch it and then it's done, right? And they're like, okay, whatever. But if you launch with 10, they can binge watch. And so that's exactly what I did. I pre-filmed like 16 episodes before I ever launched. Do you know anybody else that's launched a podcast with 16 episodes already filmed? No. And that's the type of things that people don't do or think about when they're trying to do something like. So I launched with 10 episodes right out the gate, and then I was ready to still do multiple episodes every week because we had already filmed them all. So preparation and, you know, getting the right information were what were allowed or what allowed it to be what it is. Leo, you had your hand up.
Cool, Ryan. My second question is, what impact do you want to leave on this planet?
What impact do I want to leave on humanity? Is that what you said?
Yeah, on humanity or the planet or just
Or the planet, yeah. Well, it's not. I'm not like Elon. Like, I don't want to go to Mars. But yeah, I would just say it goes back to God again. Like for me, anyways, it's just like leaving this legacy of this guy who honored God with everything he did. Was transparent, had integrity, and then was always out there just giving value, serving people, being generous, and really impacted and inspired a lot of people. I look, there's this exercise that one of my coaches had me do. He said, Ryan, think about your funeral right now. Like, if you were to die today, what would people know you for? Like, how many people would show up at your funeral? Like, what would it look like? And, would I be happy today? Sure. Yeah. Like, I think my funeral would be enormous. I think people would say great things, like whatever. But like, I want it to be like this stadium of people, they're like, damn, like this guy impacted us a lot. Like this guy, I never even met Ryan, but he changed my life because now I'm a couch flipper, whatever it is. Right. But that's kind of what I'm looking for sure.
All right, Ryan, I'm going to jump in here. We're at the top of the hour, and I want to respect your time for sure. And we're super grateful that you came on to share a ton of great nuggets of information, advice, inspiration. It was great. And I think the members, I speak for everybody when I say, thank you so much for doing that. But we're at the hour, so we're gonna let you go. I'll keep in touch, Ryan. I love what you're doing as well. I think we know some of the same people. So again, appreciate your time and have a good rest of your evening.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. Guys, I had a blast talking with you. You guys asked some amazing questions. Make sure to shout this out on Instagram. I'll repost it. And go out there and kill it. Keep investing, being smart. And, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys succeed. So thanks for having me on, guys.
If you like this video and want to see more like it, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You should also go check out our website and Instagram, which are both linked below this video. Thanks again for watching. Now go and get your freak on.